do what you can. But good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us. We're happy you're here. Thank you. We are, as the sign says behind Anita, all in alignment, creating sacred spaces. And she is the amazing Anita Adrain. And I am Cheryl Viczko,
Oh,
welcoming
no,
you.
say
Welcoming
are they
you.
amazing? We're both amazing.
We're both amazing. There you go.
For Feng Shui
Ready?
Friday,
You betcha.
Anita and yes, and my amazing partner, she already said.
Cheryl.
And there we are. We're gonna
Yeah,
do the
so I
thing.
have 3 cards already waiting, but I
Okay,
wanted
of
to I
course.
wanted to get that over with because it takes a lot of love and work behind the scenes to get this going,
Oh,
and
yes.
we just want to share it with everybody. So, what's funny
Hmm.
is, and I wanted to address that because of the card, 2 of the cards that came out, 2 of the 3. So the first one is that came out is number 25, getting organized. What have we been
Okay.
doing? The second one that came out is number 1, animals. I actually want to start with this one and talk about our heat wave that we have going on here in animals.
Okay.
And the third one that came out is number 47 again, wealth and prosperity.
Hmm.
Interesting. But let's start with number 1 and the animals and the heat wave. And
Mm.
someone had posted a picture of, and I want to say it was a golden lab or a golden retriever, laying on the floor in a vet's clinic with all 4 pads bandaged up from burn.
Aw.
And it just broke my heart. And then I was golfing yesterday, and my friend said, and it really struck me, if you can't walk barefoot on the sidewalk on the asphalt, don't walk your pet. If it's too hot for your feet, your bare feet, hello, it's too
Yeah.
hot for your dog,
Yeah.
for your pet.
Yeah.
And having water at, I mean, we have a pool for my dog. You can't see it, but we have a little portable pool for him, and we put cold water in it every day. And when him and I come outside, first thing he does is
Hmm.
has a drink, and then he stands in it to cool off. So
Hmm.
even this for me is hot and muggy. He's looking for cold places right now.
Hmm.
So ensure that if you've got pets in this heat, please give them shelter. Make sure they've got water and a shady place to be, a cool place to lay down. There's my advertisement for protecting your pets.
Well, the word dog itself backwards is
It's
God,
God.
right? And we were just talking about this love bubble that we're going to be
Hmm.
creating, and they are those unconditional love, right? They
Absolutely.
are huge tree and tree
Tree.
chi. Okay, let's try this again. They are
Sure.
chi enhancers,
Answers.
right? They they're little energy, I don't know what you call it, they regulate energy. They know where the good energy is. They know where the bad energy. I was sitting out on the deck this morning, and the neighborhood dogs were barking and howling and, talking
Hmm.
and they sense energy. They
Absolutely.
know if there's something uncomfortable. And so let's use them as your meter in your home, in your
Hmm.
physical space.
Oh, I like that.
Where do they gravitate? Where do they not like to go? There's a clue that you can shift the energy, and maybe it's that you got to get organized. The other day, I tell you, things were, of course, because we've had this heat wave, the
Yes.
last place you want to be is inside. However, we have things to do. So, but you know what? Things had my desk was a mess. The whole upstairs was a mess. And I just was like, okay, I
I need
know
to
that
do
I
something.
cannot focus and do what I need to do until all this stuff is cleaned up. So, and it literally took not very long, right? Our 20 is plenty.
Plenty.
20 minutes, 20
Yep.
minutes. The desk was cleared. 20 minutes, the laundry was caught up. 20 minutes, the bathroom was clean, right? Just these little short bursts of 20 minutes
Hmm.
help me to get organized so that whew, the time that I have to spend in my office doing the things that we need to do to get ready for our event, then I can do it with a clear mind and not having all of that other stuff, right? So again, going back to those pets, if there's an area in your home that they don't like to go to, right? There are chi indicators, let's call them that. They're a chi indicator saying, hey, the energy isn't flowing very good here. Maybe you got to get organized. Yeah, and you know, respect those little people, those little fur babies, because they bring so much love into our life.
Absolutely.
Good morning, Spenceport, New York. Marion is joining us today.
Good
Hello,
morning.
beautiful. And guess what?
What?
Marion is coming to Power of an Unstoppable
She
Woman in
is.
October, all the way from Spenceport, New York.
Exactly.
Hello.
Very cool. I'm excited to actually physically hug her and see her in the person.
Oh,
Yay!
and then, you know, Alaska's coming too. Good morning,
Yes.
Alaska. Good morning,
Alaska bought her plane ticket.
Saskatchewan. Yeah, look at all those three are coming. Alaska,
Woo!
Saskatchewan, New York. Hello.
Perfect.
And
And
you
it's a
live in
great
Red Deer and you live
opportunity.
in Red Deer, you live in Sylvan Lake and you haven't got your ticket yet? Like,
Lacombe,
what the
Black
heck?
Falls, October 19th and 20th. And honestly,
Oh,
oh, so Saskatchewan was at the event last year. Would be
mm-hmm,
great to get a testimonial from her,
mm-hmm,
written or a little video, or if she's got pictures to share of the event. We'd love to have all of those things. I put a shout out on our Power of an Unstoppable Woman um, group yesterday, asking
mm-hmm,
for the same thing. Um, and here's why we do that. Because sometimes we forget what's transpired, but now that we're 10 months past, not
mm-hmm,
even, it's easier to look back and go, holy smokes, I met Kate, the hardest, or I
mm-hmm,
met Lady JB Owen, and I decided to become an author. And now I'm an international best-selling author, and I've spoken on a global stage, and a new business idea has been presented to me, and all because of attending this event. Like
mm-hmm.
that's one person. So
Yep.
what can happen in your life if you're feeling stuck? Two things we recommend: look at your environment getting organized,
Mm-hmm.
right? And get out of your comfort zone. We have been studying with Forbes Riley. We talked about that last week. It's very fascinating. And she has one saying that has really stuck with me. And I don't know if Anita remembers this or not. As expected, you're going to get what you expect. And you're also going to get what you tolerate. So if you're tolerating less than, if you're tolerating a space that is disorganized, that is chaotic, if you're tolerating someone treating you disrespectfully, guess what? That's what's going to continue to happen.
Mm.
Very fascinating. So when she told the story, and I'm going to share this story, is that okay, Anita?
Absolutely.
So Forbes Riley, who has presented for decades, she has sold $2.6 billion. She kind of knows what she's doing. She's spoken all over, had a large company pay her 50 grand to speak to this audience. And she was scheduled to speak after lunch. So she walked into the room. The audience was mostly young men, and they were on their phones.
Mm.
and she couldn't get their attention. So she thought, okay, I'm not tolerating this. She literally got up on the desk and said, listen, if your phone is more interesting than the wisdom I'm about to share with you, I can leave. I have better things to do. But your company is paying me to share with you some of the things that I've done to sell $2.6 billion. Do you want to listen or not? And they put down their phones because she wasn't going to tolerate being disrespected.
Mm.
And I love that story. So,
Mm-hmm.
what are we tolerating?
Mm-hmm. And we all have, those levels of tolerance when it comes to
Absolutely.
different things,
Absolutely.
right? And we, when you talk about getting organized. So for my husband, he has a very low tolerance when it comes to the fridge disorganization. He, for some reason, doesn't like leftovers, and I might keep the odd little bowl of something to have for lunch the next day. And he blows a gasket because the fridge has all this stuff in it. When really, so there's different levels of
Levels.
tolerance, right?
Valid.
And that could also show up in your home in other areas in the way of, you know, what I deem to be organized is
Hmm.
not what somebody else's organization looks like, right?
Very true.
And again, it may be that whole consideration of tolerance that you're talking about. That we have to look through our feng shui eyes and see if it's affecting us or everyone, or how we can kind of work together
Hmm.
on coming to a middle ground, right?
That's working for everybody. So, while
Yeah.
we're on that topic, the sun has started to beat in
Mm-hmm.
on me, and I'm not going to tolerate it any longer. So, Anita,
Your
keep
shift.
chat. I'm going to put up a different umbrella and put some shade on myself. So,
Okay.
Anita can talk on one of the other topics if she chooses.
Okay. Well, another thing that I was thinking about this week, because I have been getting some other things organized in some of the rental properties, and making some energetic shifts in the environment. And again, I had to catch myself a few times this week to say, oh, that's good enough. Oh, that's good
Oh,
enough, right?
settling.
So for example, I was, thanks to Cheryl, who had put this what do you call it, UV protection film thing on her windows.
Hmm.
I thought, oh, that's a great idea. I'm gonna do that because we have this heat wave, and I, need that to help cool down some of the other properties. So I ordered some, and I was over, doing, measuring, putting stuff up. And again, there were a couple of times when I had to catch myself and say, okay, um, a little voice in my head from my father said any job worth doing is worth doing right. Because I was going to just leave it in a certain way and just say, oh, that's good enough,
Hmm.
right? But I had to catch myself and say, no, it's not good enough. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right the first time, because the people that are renting those places deserve to have it done right,
Hmm.
just like I would, right? And again, that's what you're talking about, that's coming back, and that's kind of a reflection and all of that. Um, yeah, anyways, that all goes back to that getting organized thing.
It
So
does.
let's put in the comment. Hello, Marianne. Nice to see you. Marianne's joining us from Thetis Island. So put in the
Hello.
comments, what have you been getting organized, or what
Tolerating.
or what has been kind of like going, oh, when are you gonna organize me? Hello, I'm over here. What, you know? And I have to tell you that when you do get organized, just like I did the other day, all of a sudden,
Yeah.
you feel better and
Mhm.
things start to flow. And there was actually some wealth and prosperity things that flowed in the other day as a result of getting those things organized and really being consciously aware of how the environment was impacting me. Hmm.
100%, 100%, Anita. So we've talked about the animals, which was one of our cards. We've talked quite a bit about
Mhm.
the getting organized. All of it, all of that has an impact on the wealth and prosperity.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
looking at the abundance around you. When I'm sitting in my yard and I'm looking around, and even the peas. So my peas and beans, I mean, I picked a bean last night. First one of the year. Woo-hoo!
Yay!
And the pea
Woohoo!
pods are filling out, and the tomatoes are starting to produce on the vine, and they'll start ripening here pretty soon. And kale. Teo's been enjoying the kale. There is so much abundance around us, and it's really funny because I can hear birds that are just going right now while I'm talking about abundance and squirrels. It was very cute because we can look at wealth and prosperity in a number of ways. It's not just financial, and that tends to be something that people talk about all the time. That's what we relate to the wealth and prosperity. What about being surrounded by clean air?
Ooh, yes.
And that clean air
Mhm.
comes from plant life,
Mhm.
healthy plant life, not stagnant plant life. Um, Abundance can come in the form of even air movement. So we had wind, excuse me, a fairly large windstorm come through last night. No rain out of it, unfortunately, but I had lost a couple sunflowers that I didn't get staked, but I still had an abundance of other sunflowers that got staked and tied up last night while it was cooler outside. So it's observing and noticing the abundance that is around you that
Mhm.
creates other forms of abundance. It goes back to that attitude of gratitude is one of the
Mhm.
older sayings. There's also gratitude is the abracadabra of the universe. If you like magic terms, that's a Joy Roby saying. But abundance is around us.
Mhm. Mhm.
And when we start noticing all different forms of abundance, then others start to come in. So it's that chi, it's that observation. Excuse me. So, Anita, touch on that. I gotta clear my throat. Excuse me. Like you needed to know that, right?
Well, you're absolutely right. And this is a perfect time of year to, again, like you say, recognize that abundance in all things and especially in nature. You can just look at one plant and see how many leaves. I might post a picture on here. My grape plant is going crazy. I think it's
The heat.
growing 6 inches every night just to say, "Ooh, let's see what we could do," right? Um, and just to notice how beautiful, and I mean, if I had to stop and count how many leaves on that thing, I
Not
wouldn't be able
happening.
to. And the fruit just coming in, right? It's starting to grow. And but again, it's all about that awareness and recognizing, and then, like you said, Cheryl, really cognizantly, consciously giving thanks, taking a moment to say, thank you, beautiful, great
Mhm.
plant, for blessing my life and showing me, that life is fruitful, that life is luscious, and that there's lots of growth out there and that there's rapid growth, right?
Oh,
Um,
I love that rapid growth.
yeah.
Yeah. When
So
the
anyway,
conditions are perfect.
yeah.
When meaning when you're in the flow. right? We've talked about that. Oh, I love that. Oh, yes. New way, new tangent, right? The conditions are pristine. Exact amount of sunlight. We'll use the grape. Perfect
Mm-hmm.
temperatures, air movement,
Mm-hmm.
moisture, sunlight, and room to breathe. So that
Mm-hmm.
grape plant could not grow that much or that quickly if you hadn't given it space.
Ah, ha,
So
ha, ha.
consider that about your home. If
Mm.
you can't, if you don't allow your desk space for other things to come in, I'm just using a desk because you mentioned that earlier, Anita.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing can come in. And that one thing that could be missing could be the moisture, could be the sunshine. It's likely the space because you can
Mm-hmm.
give a plant optimum growing conditions. But if it's inside of a box, it'll fill that box and that's it.
Mm-hmm. I love that analogy. And I just asked everybody for some comments, and Marion said that she's decluttering her entire living space and
Nice.
feeling bogged down with the absolute amount that needs to be taken out. And Marion, recently in the last 6 months, I've had to take my mother's worldly possessions, and we had to go through them and organize them and do all of that stuff and then move her. And it was a process. And there were some painful pieces of that process. And there were some great pieces in that process. And yesterday I was talking with her, and she is so happy at her new place.
Aww.
And we talked about, the last 6 months and all of the things that we had to go through. And she said, we know that everything just happened exactly the way it was supposed to. And she is just so, so happy. Um, so my thing with you, Marion, is stick with it,
Yep.
even though it feels, overwhelming and it's bogging you down. We have a process that we teach in our 21-day decluttering program called the Swiss cheese method, which I'll share with you. It's simply just take a piece of paper and draw, a circle and draw what it is that you need to do or write down. And then, make some little pieces around it and just say, okay, well, maybe it's the bathroom cupboard, maybe it's the closet, maybe it's whatever. And then when you get it done, just poke a hole in it. And pretty soon you're gonna have a Swiss cheese. There's more to it than that, but anyways, I also wanted to address that Marianne is organizing her closet. So she's organized and redecorated her bedroom, but her closet is the thing that needs to be done. Okay,
Ah,
so again, don't put it off, because those are the things that go behind closed doors, right? And we think that just shutting the door, but energy doesn't hide. And again, just as Cheryl was talking about making space for that growth, if you want that growth to happen, you have to have room for it to grow.
exactly. Exactly. We are past the top of the hour, my friend.
Okay,
Again,
okay,
shockingly. So
shocking.
I did a quick ad, and you tell me if you get the number 2 as our number from the cards. So we had 25, 47, and 1.
Okay, I got 10. 47 is an 11, which is a 2. 7 and 1. So I'm at a 10.
Oh, okay. So it's 1.
It's a
I
number
had
1,
20.
which is new beginnings,
Innings.
which every day nature says we can start again,
Because
right?
I'm
We can
reading, it's funny. I
start
got the book
again.
ready at 2 and I'm reading it going, that just doesn't flow with today. But
Okay.
there you
You
go. The
know, the
1
one does.
actually has great significance. Because of its appearance, a single vertical line with no foundation, it also represents tremendous courage and strength. Talk about nailing the head on the wall, on nailing the head on the wall, nailing the head with a hammer. Okay, let's try that again.
I
Nailing
know
it
we can't talk
for
today.
Marianne and
We're in the
Marion,
evening. Yeah.
right? Getting started on a new project or job. Persistence that will not be distracted from its own boldness.
Mm.
Also carries with it a bit of bossiness. Sometimes a fearlessness of one's own power. Ooh.
That resonates. That totally
Ooh.
resonates because power of an unstoppable
Unstoppable
woman.
woman.
Think about that. Put that in your bonnet for today. And as you're going through to get it organized, right? Cleaning out your closet, maybe doing the list with the Swiss cheese method. Just think about, put that in your mind and just say, I today, just for today, it doesn't have to be all week or weekend.
Mhm.
Just for today, I am unstoppable. And I am going to take 20 minutes and I'm going to get organized over here. I'm going to take 20 minutes over here, 20 minutes over there. And then let's see if you end up with a piece of Swiss cheese at the end of the day.
Now they're going to be going, what the hell are they talking about Swiss cheese?
I know.
Tune in. Have a fabulous week. And again,
Thanks for joining us live, everybody.
absolutely, absolutely. And if you attended last year's Power of an Unstoppable Woman and you have pictures you're willing to share with us, we'd love to see them. Something that's transpired, a new friend, a new mission, a new job, whatever the case may be. What was your experience last year? We'd love to hear from it. Have a great week. Take care.
Bye for now.
Bye.